Hey everybody, Matt Barton here with this week's Broker Minute or Two. We all know we had the national settlement back in August. We got new documents to address some of the settlement items. And then in December, UAR came out with some modified forms based on how things had been going and to capture some things that had been missed initially. And I hope you'll listen to today's message because it's important. I've had a lot of questions asked on this still 8 months later. And it's not just inexperienced agents, it's experienced agents as well. I'm talking about, in particular, the ERS, and there actually is some carryover even to the Exclusive Buyer Broker Agreement. But I'm going to concentrate on the ERS today because this is where more of the confusion still lies. So let me show this on screen. This obviously is the exclusive right to sell. The section we're talking about is all of Section 2. And the first thing I wanted to say right out of the gate is it's so important when we're talking with clients that we are not only confident, but that we have clarity as we explain these things. If we sit there and meander with our explanation, the confidence level of our clients goes down, right? So what I'm trying to suggest to you is you need to practice this dialogue specifically. So when your seller says, now what am I paying? Who am I paying? How's it paying? You don't sit there and go, well, it's kind of confusing. I'm getting a little confused myself. That doesn't go over well. I want you to be highly confident and clear when you explain this. And so that's the purpose of today's message. And I'm going to blow this up just so we can see some of the sections a little more clearly. All right, so the first thing to remember is this is brokerage compensation, right? If I'm going to pretend I'm going to do role play today as if I'm an agent and I'm talking to Mr. and Mrs. Seller, right? And when we get to the ERS and I'm coming to the brokerage compensation, my dialogue is going to be something like this. Hey, listen, we're so excited. We are so excited to be working for you. The company, Remax Associates, this is what you are going to be responsible financially when we sell your house. I'm not going to say if we sell your house. I'm going to do the assumptive close. When you sell your house. When we sell your house, okay? And I'm not even going to wait for their nod of approval. I'm just going to keep moving through, right? We had a national settlement last year between the Department of Justice and the entire nationwide real estate industry. And some of the things I'm going to explain to you today are in this section a result of that. And actually, I think you're going to see there's some real benefits to you, right? Paint it with a positive. It's so much easier to explain. All right, so then I'm going to jump into Section 2.1. Section 2.1, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is super easy. It's what you're going to pay our brokerage, Remax Associates, when we sell your house. That's the portion you will pay us. Okay? That's really straightforward, and you guys should be able to say this so easily. I don't even need to spend time on it. Section 2.2, this is one of the new additions in December from the UAR to the ERS. Section 2.2, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what the state has found out is that because of the national change, they're seeing an uptick in some of the unrepresented buyers, and they wanted to make sure we had a section here to cover if that becomes an eventuality, right? And what a lot of times people don't understand is even though they're an unrepresented buyer, they don't have an agent. We as the company will do additional work on behalf of an unrepresented buyer. I mean, we're going to use our digital signature platform to send things out. We may help set up and coordinate getting their appraiser in or inspectors or any number of things. They may have questions about the docs. Our job is to help them feel comfortable moving forward so they successfully close on your house. Make no mistake about it, though. My fiduciary of loyalty, confidentiality, all of those things are to you. We're only doing this portion to help the deal move along. But since it is taking more time, we do have an additional charge. Now, at that point, whatever you want to charge them, 0.5 point, 1 point, 1.5% additional. The key is to say the amount in Section 2.2, if there is an unrepresented buyer and you have to agree to it, will be added to Section 2.1. So if we had 3% up in 2.1 and we had 1% in 2.2, if there's an unrepresented buyer and you agree to allow us to help in that portion of the transaction, then the total amount, and this is where it really will be an advantage to you, and I'll show you why, is you'd only be paying 4%, right? Now, Section 2.3, this is where most of the agents are confused or don't completely understand or don't know how to say it. So I think the important thing to remember from 2.3 is this is Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is one of the areas that changed. In the past, you would have been contractually obligated to pay an amount. The DOJ wanted to make sure that whatever a seller was paying was negotiable. And that's what this section accomplishes. And it's important that you say these things. This is what this section accomplishes. What? That portion of the compensation is variable, is negotiable. Okay? So what does this section really say to you and me as agent and broker? It's the seller is authorizing us what? To advertise or to otherwise communicate to a buyer's brokerage, a buyer's agent, that with the right deal, and it's important you use those words, with the right deal, we may be willing to pay up to the amount that we talked to you about. So there's two parts to it. The seller's giving us authority to communicate that there is compensation, and with the right offer, we may pay an amount up to, oops, just went off the screen right here, up to whatever they allow us to talk about. But they're not committed to it until there is an offer, right, that they have to agree to, obviously. And that's the important part I think a lot of agents are missing, is saying this is the negotiable portion. Just by putting something in here does not commit you to this, right? Now, in fairness, further below, it does say in the second half, unless checked below, and we'll get to the checkbox, the company may enter into a written compensation agreement to pay a buyer's brokerage not to exceed the authorized amount in section 2.3. So this is the broker-to-broker compensation agreement. Now, what I would tell my sellers is I will never sign, or my brokerage will not sign that broker-to-broker compensation agreement until we've consulted with you. That's the easy answer. An easier answer is that we've found probably 90% of the offers, meaning in the REPC, is where compensation is covered, not in a broker-to-broker compensation agreement. And therefore, they're going to see the amount, and they will have a choice whether to sign the REPC or not, or negotiate. So there's no real scenario where we're going to just shoehorn them into a buyer's brokerage compensation. They will maintain themselves in the driver's seat. If that really does bother them and they don't want the chance that the company could obligate them, as contained in the second half of paragraph 2.3, then they can check this box. The seller does not authorize the company to enter into a written compensation agreement. We still have authority to tell them that there is compensation up to this amount, but if this box is checked, then we are contractually prohibited from entering a compensation agreement, right? In that case, typically, we would tell the other side that the seller is requiring all compensation to be covered in the REPC. So I really hope that added some clarity as to what those sections are and some suggested dialogue. Feel free to tweak it, but I think I hit on some key things there that will help you with clarity and confidence explain to your sellers the lay of the land on Section 2, also known as brokerage fee. I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk soon.